Hello guys, it's been a while, but we are back at Brent's Railway for a long-awaited 5-inch gauge video. So the reason I'm doing this is because there is a new addition. You can just see it behind me, kind of giving the game away there. It's a Class 37 by Steam and Diesel Castings, or Dan Jevons, whatever you want to call it. It's BR green, split head code boxes, obviously 5-inch gauge. I'm really happy with it. Got it for a very good price, couldn't say no. And that now has me up to 9 locomotives, if you count the next one I'm going to show you as 2, but you'll have to wait for another video. But yeah, let's have a closer look at the Loco and I'll show you what it's all about. So here we are then, my new Class 37 in D6700 livery, BR green as I say, with green ends as well, something I'm going to change. As I say, it's a full Dan Jevons Loco. It was basically bought by the previous owner as is, already painted, ready to go. I think he just assembled it and away he went. He's given up the hobby because of deteriorating health, which is obviously sad, but hopefully I can do this Loco justice and get some good use out of it. You know what I'm like, running every week, so I'm sure if there's anyone for a Loco to go to and you want it to get used, I'm probably the main man. Can't really deny that. But yeah, it's a really nice looking model. Obviously it's not perfect, it does need some work, so I'm going to be busy getting it sorted out. However, I don't want to go too mad because I do have a lot of projects on the go, so I want to keep it sort of up and together and just do little bits to kind of tweak it to how I want it. So the idea at the minute, and I'll flash a picture up on the screen, is to stay with the green. However, I'm going to put small yellow front ends on, paint the buffer beams completely red, put an orange cam rail stripe on, flush glazing windows, and just some little bits of subtle weathering and little bits and bobs like that to sort of detail it up. So one of the first changes I want to make is electrical. I want to alter the headlamps. So the headlamps currently do not function. I do need to put a high intensity lamp on for the livery I want. It does currently have LEDs fitted to the tail lamps, however in this hobby you don't really use them very often. However, it's nice to have, but I'd rather have the headlamps for facing forwards because that's what you do 99% of the time. So what I'll probably do is get the multi-tool and mill out the head code boxes, put some LEDs behind, a bit of plastic card, something like that. I'll work it out. But yeah, small yellow panels, get some headlights working, red buffer beams, and then just sort of modernise it a bit of weathering, and I'll be pretty happy. You can see that the glazing is just mounted behind the cab window frame, sorry. So that's one of the first things I need to tackle, because this wiper doesn't really do a lot. Not that it obviously functions, but it looks a bit silly. So that's going to be one of the first things I do, is get some perspex and mark it out, and then make some new windows. Another thing I've had to do is I had the roof off. The batteries had a piece of angled aluminium to hold them in place, which seems like a good idea. However, the way they were meant that the batteries sat up a little bit, and that was causing the roof not to sit flush. So we sorted that, took them out. Don't really need them anyway. So the roof's now sitting flush. The only thing so far I have done to this Loco other than that, which is kind of invasive, is we've got a nice new PC fan, that's the cooler group fan. So I fitted that in because it was just a blank piece of fiberglass before with just a piece of mesh bolted to the top. So that looks an awful lot nicer. Just really sort of gives it that little bit of detail. I am going to power that as well because it's obviously 12 volt. So I'll run that off a separate battery, which I'll probably run the lights off as well. And then I'll also think about fitting a smoke system. So being a Dan Jevons model, it is a MDF main body with 2 fiberglass cabs and a separate fiberglass roof. So obviously the roof comes off in a separate piece, pretty obvious, it's in front of you. But that obviously reveals the battery compartment and where the controller is, the sound system, and all the wiring, which is a bit of a bird's nest at the minute, and I'm not happy with it. So at some point I will take it out and redo it. However, at the minute it works and I've got too many other things on, so I'm going to leave it unless it breaks. One thing I have done, something silly, is I need to screw it back in, but the speaker was that way up, and what that meant was when you put the roof back on, and it really muffled the sound. So I've moved the sound module, which is there, down a little, and that just enables me to put the speaker upside down, and that basically uses this area underneath. There's a bit of a boombox if you like. However, because it is all enclosed, you do lose the volume a bit. So what I'm going to do, because it doesn't serve any purpose under there other than supporting the amplifier, I'm actually going to cut a hole out at the bottom, and then I'll probably mount the speaker actually in the floor of the chassis so that the sound just goes straight out the bottom. It will just be a lot clearer and less muffled, and you get a lot more volume, because when you're going along, the noise of the Loco going on the rails, it does sort of drown out the sound of the Loco, which is not what I want. The advantage of the body being wooden is that I can literally just unscrew the amplifier and screw it in somewhere else, whether it's to the side of the body or wherever. So I can really juggle it all about to suit what I want. To get the cabs off, there's 3 nuts under here, and the cab comes completely separately off. So I believe that's what I'm going to be doing tonight or tomorrow night, depending on what the other half wants to do. Because I want to get that glazing out and start cracking on with some flush glazing and sort the head code boxes out. But yeah, it runs all right. I suppose I could fire it up, let you have a listen of the sound. It's not the best. I do need to have a look at it and see if I can get a better file. The idle sounds really nice. However, when you're driving, it's a bit limp. I mean, you get an initial sort of bit of engine RPM, and then it settles down and it just stays there. It does increase the speed very slightly, but it's not noticeable, so I'm not really happy with it. You don't get that distinctive Class 37 sort of thrash, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, only other thing, it's got a brand new 4QD D&O 10 in the Loco. The previous owner changed it quite recently, and handily for me, he also bought a spare just in case. God knows why, but I have now a spare 4QD controller. So what I'm going to put that in, I'm not sure, but we'll soon find a home for it, I'm sure. Relay board down there as well, and that's about it. Obviously, as again I say, the wiring's not tidy, it's not pretty. I'm not happy with it. It will change in due course, and we'll see how well these batteries get on as well, because car batteries aren't the best in this application. But yeah, we'll chuck the switches on. So we've got main switch, auxiliaries for the sound, and then that is just to turn the sound itself on. If I give it just a little bit of power, you'll hear the drive sound. Heard that there. It has got the very annoying car horns. So they need to go as well. I'll chuck the body back on, sorry, the roof, and you'll hear how muffled the sound is with it on. So again, you'll notice why I want to cut a hole out in the bottom of the Loco for the sound to escape. So I just hold it there, try and do this one-handed. I'm sure you can hear how quiet that's now gone. So it really does make a big difference having the roof off. With the roof off, it sounds brilliant. However, obviously, it looks a bit silly. One of the main things I like about this Loco is it's got the proper design of 37 bogies, with the spider in the middle, proper equalising beams, axle boxes all function as they should. It all works similar to the real thing. I did previously buy a 47 project, and it had these really lovely bogies on it as well, but obviously the 47 version. However, I ended up getting rid of that, and I was a bit gutted because these do sort of do it for me, if you like. It's just really nice to have. However, I could do some brake hangers on the front and rear just to give it that extra bit of detail, because it looks a bit naked at the front. As for the bodywork on the Loco, you'll notice the roof doesn't quite sit perfect, even after sorting the battery height out. I think that is mainly down to the amount of layers of paint that is on the top of the roof. There's a lot of spillage of paint on there, so when I get it home, I'm going to go at it with the dual action sander and flatten it all off nice, and hopefully that roof will just sit down that little bit more. As you can see, I've already been messing about with paint somewhere. But talking of paint, actually, it's not great. You can see there's been a lot of touch-ups on the Loco. I mean, no, nothing against the previous owner, you do what you got to do. However, I don't like the look of that, so that's another thing I'll be changing. think that's the good side out of the two. Yeah, this is the bad part here. I don't know if you can see it because of the sunshine. But here there's a lot of strangeness going on. It looks like the filler's sort of blown or something's happened. So what I need to do is either cut that grille out and replace it completely along with the other side, or just try and carefully sand around it so it's flat again. I mean, my mate Jamie does do 3D printed grills for these, or he has done in the past, so I'm sure if I sweet talk to him, he'd sort me out. However, I don't want to burden him, and I don't want to be painting. I want to paint as little as possible. That is the plan. Because it works, I just want to get it to where I want it and leave it alone. So the main things that are going to be painted, again, yellow front panel. I'm going to have to paint that red line out of the roof. So what I might do is just mask off under the red line and paint the whole roof another coat of grey. Not 100% sure. It's going to get weathered to hell anyway. And then obviously the orange cant line. So that's going to be it. So that's probably all there is really to say about it. Hopefully you like it. I mean, obviously it will feature in videos, and I'll be taking it around the country to any railways that I visit, unless I want to take something else, of course. I've got a bit of a choice. But yeah, it's nice to have a 37. They are something I do quite like. I mean, they're not my favourite Loco in the world, however I do have quite an appreciation for them. They do sound brilliant, and they are sort of a bit of a workhorse, and in this scale I think it's really nice. So let's get a couple running shots and leave it at that. Attacked by the trees.